The exact reasons for the following may never be known, but from what I have researched, this is the best that I can gather. This is an open invitation to anyone who is involved to contact me to tell me this story, but something tells me they may not want to. This is the Sauruxet Incident. It's 2010. Heavysaurus had just won the best children's album at the Emma-gala for Hilmaniskin. It was the second best-selling album in Finland that year. The award was mostly alike to the Grammy Awards, so it was a fairly big deal, at least in Finland. The tour dates the band had done, and were continuing to do, sold really well. The first stages of their merchandise were coming out. It wouldn't be long before plush toys and action figures of the band would be on sale, with books and towels and even their own board game. Heavysaurus was certainly proving a hit. The previous year's Euroheaven-Kuninkaat had also done pretty well. The band had sights on the coming year, planning on releasing 2 albums, one normal and one Christmas-themed one, as well as continuing to tour. You would think that everything was going fine, and it certainly was, but within the band there was some conflict, mainly coming from one of the founders, perhaps the biggest founder, Mirko Rantanen. The band was his project. He had envisioned it, created it with a bunch of his friends, and was able to make it a success. One hit album was good. Having a second, which was the second best-selling album in the entire country, and could officially be titled award-winning, was even better than good. It was amazing. Sony Music Finland almost certainly thought so too. The band was proving to be a nice moneymaker, and they had eyes on pushing different language versions out to different countries. Kids like music, and they almost certainly like dinosaurs, so this was to be easy money. Mirko wasn't happy with Sony. He felt that he owned the copyrights and the trademarks to the band entirely, so it should be his say in what they do. Sony said that they owned the copyrights, and as such they could do what they wanted. So Mirko left. He took a handful of the team who comprised Heavysaurus, went to Leica Productions and started Sauruxet, with an identical lineup to Heavysaurus, a minor name change from Hera Heavysaurus to Herasaurus, tweaked the back catalogue of songs to remove references to Heavysaurus, and promptly started working on a new album. One of the questions which I get asked is why did Heavysaurus have those hideous costumes when their then current lot was absolutely fine. I believe that Mirko on leaving took the costumes, but one report suggests that they were seized. But Sauruxet would later be in newer outfits than the seized ones, and Sony scrambled to make some made for Heavysaurus, resulting in these hideous ones. These were made from reindeer skin dyed green. Absolutely serious. Not anymore, I should add, and it is legal in Finland. It is a byproduct of hunting. It remains a quite not pretty period of time, and still to this day, the press pack includes the old outfit images. Why? It's now 2011. Heavysaurus released Ra, and Sauruxet released Sauros Planeta. Both bands are touring. Sauruxet looked like Heavysaurus, even played the same songs at the concerts. There was some confusion. 2 identical dinosaur metal bands, just for a different name. Parents and children thought that both bands were the same and that there wasn't any difference at all. Since no effort had been made to differentiate the bands, it was almost a certain fact that the lawyers would soon be present. It wasn't long until Sony lawyered up, citing Sauruxet with a cease and desist and copyright infringement. Mirko Rantanen also grabbed his lawyer and went to court with Sony. He was determined that Heavysaurus was his and that he could do what he wanted. Sauruxet stopped touring at this point, but Heavysaurus continued on. During the long court case, which would in the end drag out over the next year or so, Mirko stated that he did everything to create the universe of the band, that he alone was responsible. Olavi Tika, also known as Hera Heavysaurus, stated that this wasn't true, and that everyone, including himself, had a part in creating the band and its universe. It was also established that Sony did indeed have the rights over the whole of Heavysaurus characters and trademarks. It was part of the contract. In early 2012, the court announced that Sony had won. Sauruxet would pay a €100,000 fine, hand everything over, and never play again, with a €50,000 on-the-spot fine if caught doing so. Mirko's lawyer said that it would appeal, but a few months later this was settled out of court, Mirko stating that the whole thing had put mental stress on him and his family, and that it is perhaps best to take a breath and look at the situation. In the end, Sauruxet would only release one album and one concert DVD. Heavysaurus would continue on after 2011's Ra and Rahilistayola, with Kadonin La Hukamana Voitus in 2012 reaching number 1 in the Finnish charts, and the rest you would know if you watched the other episodes in this series. Mirka would not perform for Heavysaurus again. He continues to play the drums in other band projects to this day. Sauruxet's album I find passable. I much prefer the Heavysaurus album of that year, but I know some people who think otherwise. I think one of the better tracks on the album is Tata Dule Sauruxet, or Here Comes Sauruxet. The album is about as heavy as Heavysaurus' earlier albums. The concert DVD is a curiosity because even though they had their own album at the time, they only performed one song from it. All the rest are Heavysaurus songs, and apart from a different singer, they sound almost alike. Overall, I find this story fairly sad. I call it the dark times because it feels like a dark and depressing time for the band whom were just starting their success, and I feel that this really hampered their efforts. Of course, they'd get a movie later and plenty more albums and a new one coming next year as well, so it's not all bad in the end for them. But I do feel bad for Mirka, whose creation, or at least the part thereof, was pretty much taken away from him, and I think he'd rather not talk about that time. I would love the chance to speak to anyone involved about this, but I do wonder, after all these 6 years or so, has this shadow truly passed the band? Hello, my name is Kraken. I'm the one who makes the Brief History of Heavysaurus series. I do this series out of love for the band and the music, and it's just a labour of love for me. I put my own money into this, and I put my own time into this. I don't make any money off making these videos. So if you'd like to hear any more about the band Heavysaurus, or just want to drop by and say hello, you can contact me at HeavysaurusRocks on Twitter. And if you'd like to donate anything, I have a Ko-fi, which will be listed in the description down below. Thank you very much for watching.